Welcome to the Forever Better Academy podcast, where you will be given the principles, tools, and techniques to reach the next stage on your journey of self-mastery. Who could you become? I'm your host, Wade Vincent. Hey guys, there is no time like the present. Literally, there is no other time that exists. The past is gone. The future is uncertain. The only time that we have is right now in this very moment. So today I want to go through now is the best time. Now is the time because, as I say, there is no other time. So what other time can you utilize? So my name is Wade Vincent, and you are tuned into the Forever Better Academy podcast. And when I was a little kid, I always would worry and stress about things that had occurred in the past or things that might occur in the future. Now, I don't necessarily understand why that was the case. Maybe, growing up in a single-parent family, there was a level of uncertainty for me as a little boy. I don't know, but the long and short of the story is I was a little worrywart, always concerned and unsure about, what was to come and, what I could do about it. And I used to, there was a game, I remember this board game we had as kids. It was like do you remember those troll dolls with the long crazy hair? I think there's a new couple of troll movies lately that have sort of brought them back into the sort of collective awareness. And we had a board game when my sister and I were little kids. I can't recall the name of it, but it was basically this troll game where you made it to the end. Like any board game, you start at the beginning and you've got to work through all these tasks and obstacles to get to the finish line. And at the end of the game, the prize was basically like magic. Like you were granted wishes. Had these wishes to come true. And I must have been like maybe 10 years old. And when I won that game one time we were playing, I took that so literally, like to heart, that now I'm able to make wishes that come true. And for the longest time as a kid, that was a thing for me. I was always like, praying or wishing and just putting that energy out to the world, just that was my frame of reference. That's what I understood. That's how I knew to approach things. I didn't really have any other life experience to call upon, and I always wanted to be in some form of control of my destiny or the outcomes of my life, what I'm looking to get from my life, even at a young age. It was very much I wouldn't say necessarily a concern, but it was always top of mind for me to be forward thinking and trying to get the best kind of outcome that I was hoping for, right? So when I didn't know any different, my methodology was making wishes because of a board game I played as a kid, or saying prayers or hoping, right? Just relying solely on chance or luck, just begging the universe to give me the outcome I desire, right? So I was pretty much letting those outside forces that I had no control over dictate the outcome of my life. Like I wasn't, and of course I'm a kid, and a lot of these things, the tools and these principles and techniques that I share, they're not specifically tailored just for adults. These are principles that can assist a child learning how to frame their approach to life and get the best outcomes far earlier on than the time that it took me to learn them. That's the whole point of this, is sharing this knowledge that's going to benefit others so that they don't have to go through all the trial and error and turmoil that I went through to learn these things. And so I constantly just was hoping, like say wishing on a prayer, I think is the saying, just hoping that it'll all come together with no real effort on my behalf, or putting in what was required to deliver the best outcomes in my life. Now, I'm obviously not just talking about when I was 10. This is just, background so you understand where this mindset has come from for me. So I carried on with that for a very long time, and um, I, I don't know where many of these things stem from, but I just know that these are the origins of my thought process, and how I got from where I was to where I am. And I hadn't really built strong coping mechanisms. So well into my 20s, possibly even into my 30s, I just didn't really, I hadn't been given or shown or practiced and learnt the tools that would help me to manage my stress and my anxiety, and learn how to cope with my environment and what I was experiencing, right? And this is something that all of us have this ability inside us to learn how to cope and learn how to best navigate, our immediate world, and what we're experiencing. So I constantly let my emotions get the best of me. I was very sensitive, driven by emotion. Perhaps that's why I was in music for so long. You have to be attuned to that, to write powerful songs and understand how to touch on that nerve. Like dive into the pain and heartache to pull that out, and flow and write that down on a page and write song lyrics. So for a very long time, even the activities that I was doing were confirming those traits and those patterns of being, highly driven and emotional, being where I hadn't learned to master that control around those emotions. So much of my time, as I say, for many, many years, much of my time was spent worrying about what had happened or what might happen, rather than focusing on my actions, which is the one thing in this equation that I have control over, and what I could do about it. So I spent so long just letting the world dictate to me. And when you do that, this is like why there's a stress and anxiety and worry, because you're literally leaving your life to chance. You're giving complete control away, and just hoping that by the grace of God, bad things won't happen to you, and your life will plan out and fall into place and just work beautifully as you would like it to. But it's a powerful realization when you understand that you have control, complete control. And much of the content and the episodes that I share with you guys revolves around taking that ownership of being able to control the outcome of your life, which is really what it's all about, right? Is living a rich, full, good life that you feel in charge of, right? So spending all that time worrying is the greatest cause of stress and anxiety in life. So much focus on what has occurred or what may occur, and the trap in that is that your mind is never dialed in and focused on the present moment. And this is what it's about. This is what today's episode is about. The only moment that truly exists is the one you and I are in right now. There is no other time. And when you start to internalize that and really like meditate on it and think through what that can mean for your life, for me personally, I understood from there that the actions that I take now in this very moment are the only ones that can affect what has occurred in the past and what's to come in the future. This very moment, the only thing that shapes and dictates my life and where it's headed is my actions right now in this very moment. So let's say, for example, let's say you used to be an alcoholic, right? Or let's say right now you're struggling with substance abuse and you can't get a hold of it and it's taking control of you, right? You aren't in control of your actions. So when you understand this simplifying it right down where it's manageable, which is this is key, is managing that control of the actions in this moment. Now, everything comes down to choice, right? You can decide to pick up that bottle of whiskey and keep drinking, or you can put it down and not touch it. And one day is a victory. One day is a victory because you've taken those steps, positive affirmations, you've taken action that's going to change your life. In that moment, you made a decision that supports the outcome you're trying to achieve. Now, you could blow it out 30,000 foot view and say, well, today I didn't drink any alcohol, but it was only one day out of the entire month. Wrong focus point. You're making it hard for yourself to succeed because you're so focused on moments outside of now. You're looking at what's happened in the past. The whole month I've struggled. I've continued to drink. I haven't gotten a hold of my problem that I need to fix, right? Rather than celebrating that small win. Today I didn't touch it. Today I didn't drink alcohol. Today I've made a conscious decision. I've taken control of my actions that deliver the outcome that I'm trying to achieve. The only time we have is now. If things have occurred in the past that you're not proud of or you feel remorseful about or you have regret, learn from it. Use it. It's gone. It's happened. It's occurred. Make the most of it. Don't let it go to waste. If you've made a choice that's bad or hasn't been, your best moment, utilize it. Take something from the experience and use it to your advantage to push you forward in a way that you understand now in this moment that we're in, the only moment that exists. You have been given experience and tools to now make better decisions in this moment. So when I started to understand that my actions right now are all there is and all that truly matters, you have this moment of clarity where you understand the level of control that you truly have over the outcomes within your life. So for me, when I started to grab onto that concept and really get it, I set clearly defined goals. So I knew where I would like to be in the future. Now I don't know what's to come, but it's important to plan what you would like to occur. So I think through where I would like to be, and then basically break down what's required on a small step-by-step scale that's manageable, that I can work on a daily basis. And this allows me to bring my focus and attention into the present moment and be here now and know that the small action that I'm taking today is part of a bigger plan that I've set out for myself and outlaid, so I know where I'm headed. And from there, all I have to do is stay focused in the moment and make sure I do that one small task or series of small tasks that are part of the bigger picture of my goals and my dreams, my ambitions, where I want to be in the future. Now, as I say, we don't know what's coming. We don't know what the future holds, but that doesn't mean we can't take actions in this moment now to prepare and best align ourselves with the future that we desire. So the easiest way that I've found that is helpful, and I'm sure that you guys will get something from this as well, is habit tracking apps. These are such a simple thing that I highly recommend, because it's laying out for you on a daily basis simple, small, manageable tasks that you can do, that you know you're doing them with a bigger picture in mind, and there's a visual representation you can see. I look at my month's worth of the habits that I've set for myself, and I'm not guessing how many times did I do this week. Did I exercise every day? Did I read every day? Was I practicing piano every day? Am I working on my business every day? Am I bettering myself? All these little things I set to build upon and compound my efforts and my habits to grow into the person that ultimately I want to be. I can see it clearly mapped out in front of me, and all I have to do is make sure that I dedicate a little piece of time each day to the success of my future self. Now, it's easy to get complacent and especially when you're younger, you have your whole life ahead of you. This, as the saying goes, you sit there and you've got to go through things and run amok and experience life and go and just play and make bad decisions and do these things, so you have foundation to build upon, so you can understand and make valuable and positive choices that move you forward and align you with the goals you've set for yourself. If you don't go through these things and then understand and learn from your experiences, you're going to continue to repeat those patterns over and over, because you haven't put the energy and focus into understanding how to make the most of your moments. Right? That's life is just made up of a series of moments. So, one of the hard things I think too is really when you are doing this, a lot of it relies on, I guess you could say, hope or faith, and not in the sense like I mentioned earlier that you're hoping for good outcomes, but you have to have a level or a sense of faith and hope in the activities that you're doing on a daily basis to ultimately deliver those outcomes, right? So it's a fine balance. You've got to have those elements. Like, you can't just rely on hope and faith and expect that the universe is going to give you the perfect life that you've wished for, like I was when I was a kid, right? And then you have to understand doing the work and taking those actions, just those small bite-sized pieces, day in, day out, with that level of faith and hope behind that you're going to achieve what you've set out to achieve. Have you ever heard the I don't know if it's a riddle or just a saying, but how do you eat an elephant? Right? It seems like a monumental task. An elephant is this giant creature. When you start to think it from that sort of 30,000 foot view, and you're like, it's impossible to eat an elephant. I couldn't manage that much food, right? The answer is one step at a time, one bite at a time. It's such a simple saying, but it demonstrates beautifully like the truth behind it. Any big monumental task that you want to achieve has to be done, let's say, one bite at a time. Attack it in those small steps that are manageable, so the task doesn't become so overwhelming. And as I say, sometimes it's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel, because how do you know that you will ever reach your goals, right? Especially when you're, for most people, I don't know, maybe it's different, but I would say almost everyone, when you have a goal or an ambition, it's generally something that you've never done before, right? That's the whole point. You're pushing yourself. You're trying to achieve. You're pushing beyond your comfort zone. You're understanding what your limitations are, and you're breaking through them and defining new limits for yourself, right? So every goal is, you know, that I can foresee is stuff that people haven't achieved and are looking to do, right? So it can be overwhelming because you haven't achieved it. You don't know what it looks like. You don't know, you know, if it was so easy, everyone would achieve their dreams. Every single person in the world would just, have the perfect life. If you if you break it down, as I say, into those small, manageable pieces, now you may never achieve your goals. You might not get all the way there. But how would you feel? Ask yourself, how would you feel if you spent your life wishing and hoping that your goals would materialize, and you're laying on your deathbed and it never occurred, and you would look back and be like, I should have worked harder towards it. I should have done more to achieve what I wanted to achieve. Compare that to, say, you never quite get to your ultimate outcome, but you put in the work in the moment. As I say, the only time we ever have is right now, and you take control of that and you own that moment and you put in effort that will drive you forward towards your goals, and you get 80% of the way there. What an amazing journey and outcome for you to become a better person and push yourself and get further than you ever imagined possible. Now, would you be satisfied looking back and being like, I just hoped for my goals to materialize, and you were 100% away from where you wanted to be, versus you got 80% of the way there, but you didn't quite get that last 20%? You're not going to lay back and be like, oh, I never, it wasn't worth it. You would never say that, because you've done everything you can, and you're rewarded for it, because your efforts in the journey is the true reward. You got 80% further than you would have got if you had done nothing and just hoped. 100%, it is always worth it, and after I take this on, and this is the only way that I build upon my actions, is, as I say, it's compounding on a daily basis. The small actions I take, last week, yesterday, today, they lead me to the person I am tomorrow. I become 1% better every day, and that's 365% better over an entire year to the person I was on the 1st of January. And using this methodology and doing this now for more than 5 years, I've learned how to manage my time effectively and make the most of my day to deliver the results I'm after. It started. Most of this started with my health and nutrition and my weight, and I was overweight. I was 99 kilos, and I was determined not to break 100 kilos. I didn't want to ever weigh in the 3-figure mark, so I went to the gym every day. Every day that I pick up weights, or I run, or I skip, whatever activity that is beneficial to my health, if I do it in the moment, I'm winning. The day is a victory, right? Even before I've got to the ultimate outcome, I'm winning. I've won the day. I've done everything within my power to make the most of my actions and ability to achieve the life that I want for myself. So I became the healthiest I've ever been. I learned how to make more money for my family and provide security and comfort for us. I have far more confidence knowing that I can manage my expectations daily as my life is occurring and not be frustrated that I'm not where I want to be yet because my focus is in the present. I can take responsibility for my actions and my activities and my habits on a daily basis and feel the utmost sense of achievement and joy and focus and fulfillment and purpose, because I know if I do these things today and I do them tomorrow, I will be where I want to be in the future. And if as I say, if I don't get all the way there, it was one hell of a journey, and I lived to the fullest every day, and every day felt great because I didn't make excuses. And that simple thing of bringing it right back down into the moment, is this activity that I'm doing now taking me closer to my goals or further away from my goals? That's the bites of the elephant that I can manage. You know, you don't wake up and say, I'm going to change the world and feed 1 billion people, and it happens. You have to go through the motions, and if you and this is another thing, this is like this magic feeling when you know that you've taken your goal, broken it down in those small, manageable, bite-sized pieces, right, that you can do each day, and you've set those tasks for yourself. You feel the same sense of fulfillment, if not more, knowing that you've done the work during the day, during the time you have right now, than achieving the final outcome. You know, that's why they say, you know, that it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. How much fulfillment comes from knowing that you're working on the thing that means the most to you in your life. You're doing everything within your power, and you're taking action in the moment now. Fulfillment isn't a destination, it's right here, right now. Fulfillment can be had on a daily basis. I promise you, I am one of the most optimistic people you'll probably ever meet, because I understand the joy and control that I can take of my own life in this very moment. Bringing it right back down, and then all my worries and anxiety from when I was a kid disappeared. I rarely worry now. You know, and if I do, I catch myself and remember, well, what can I do now in this moment to avoid, you know, what I'm worried about? And it's like anything, it's all practice. Everything is a habit. These skills take time to learn and master and refine. So you have to take time. Make the most of it now. Take that action in this moment, right now. It's the only time we have. And once I made that a daily ritual for myself, I've found so much more peace in my life. You know, I don't worry about, you know, what's to come, because I know there's things that I can't foresee happening, but the things I would like to happen, I'm doing my part to ensure that, you know, the likelihood is far greater that they do. And what more can you ask for, right? How many of you would like to feel fulfillment every day in the small, simple tasks? Right now, I'm learning to play piano, and I sound horrible. I'm trying to figure out coordination, playing two hands together, but just that's the joy. Because I know when one day I want to be, you know, an exceptional pianist, and it takes the practice. So I find joy in that practice, no matter how bad I sound, because I know that that's me taking action and responsibility for the outcome I desire. And it's the same joy and fulfillment in that moment when I'm playing terribly, because I know where it leads. Don't ever be afraid to be bad at something. Don't let other people tell you, you sound horrible or you're not good at something. They're most likely frustrated because you're taking action that they wish they were taking. Keep going. Do those little actions day in, day out. And before you know it, you'll look back and be like, that was one hell of a journey. And I went further than I ever imagined I could. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I like this one a lot. I really hope that you guys get something from it and break down those big ambitions you have into small, manageable pieces and get those habit tracking apps. Way of Life is a great app. Okay, have a look. There's plenty of them to find ones that suit your needs, and record. If you want to achieve something, you have to measure and understand the actions you're taking, and is it moving you closer to your goals? It's much easier than guessing. All right, who could you become? Thank you so much, guys. This is Wade Vincent, and for more great content, please go to foreverbetteracademy.com, and I look forward to talking with you again next week. All right, guys. See you later.